Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. Today's guest is our super heavyweight champion and new IFBB pro at the North American Championships. The man I'm talking about is Cade Zook. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Now, you have a good story because I like adversity. I like people who overcome obstacles. You know, you placed second at last year's North American. You came back, you were going to do the Nationals, you tore your tricep 6 weeks out, which has got to freaking drive you nuts. A lot of people would have been out of commission probably for well over a year. You came back less than a year later and won your class at the North American, getting your pro card. What a story that was. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got second to Ron, and I was like super motivated after that. And you know, that let me know I could at least, you know, maybe hang. So I was getting ready for Nationals. And 6 weeks out, I was doing chest one day, and I was bench pressing of all things. And as I went to rack the weight, I don't really know what happened exactly.
How much weight were you lifting?
How much weight was it? It was 405.
405, yeah. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. And I went to rack it, and I think my elbow had been bad already. It had really bad inflammation. And when I think it racked, it missed the cuff. And then this one was already racked. And it fell down really fast, and I just felt it. I knew exactly what it was when it happened.
You know what? I always tell people when you're lifting that kind of weight, even though it might be easier for you, it's so much weight that any little movement in the wrong direction could really result in a lot of damage. You got to have a spotter there just to be for safety to rack the weights. That's the hardest part, getting it off and racking it at the end.
Exactly.
So you tear it. Now, what are you thinking in your head now? You must have been crazy depressed, because I know when I tore my quad on a staircase, and I wasn't even competing, I wanted to I wanted to end it all. I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm in India. I tore my quad. What was going through your mind?
Well, you know, obviously I went to the back, and I couldn't get I knew because I took this sleeve off, or I took the sleeve off this tricep, but I couldn't take the sleeve off this tricep.
Ugh.
So I knew by not being able to grab it, it was really bad. But in my mind, I was like, well, my arm still looks pretty good, because it was like 10 minutes after. I was like, maybe I can still do Nationals.
Yeah.
But then my elbow, it was my electrolon, so it was my elbow was the first thing to really swell. And my elbow looked like a golf ball was in it within an hour or two, and then I knew it was probably not too good. And I got an x-ray that day, because the woman who owns my gym, her husband is a surgeon, so he got me in, he hooked me up.
Oh,
and
wow. That's convenient.
It was, yeah.
So he reattached it the next day?
I reattached it, I think, in like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay. Now,
yeah.
Now, when the guy went in there and saw the damage you did, what did you tear, and how severe was the injury?
It was a full thickness tear, right at the electrolon, he said, and he sent me a text, because like I said, I had hope that it wasn't torn.
Yeah.
And I was still dieting. I was still eating my food and everything, and doing cardio. And then when I got that, I remember I was cooking food, and I got that text, and man, it was like you said, it was like the most depressing feeling ever.
Takes your breath away, yeah.
Yeah, it was awful.
You probably were in denial, though, because it probably looked horrendous, I'm sure. Your arm was swelled up. I mean, maybe your arm looked big, but you had to know something was seriously wrong there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and then it's like after I was told, the purple bruises just started coming out of nowhere. Like once my brain heard it, it just instantly just let it go.
Now, I know with the quad rehab, that was pretty brutal. How intense is the tricep rehab? Is there a lot of painful stretching involved to get range of motion back? What's involved in the rehab of that?
Yeah, the worst thing about the tendon is because you have to wear the brace for like 2
the
weeks.
RoboCop brace, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't even put a spoon in my mouth or brush my teeth at all. So the main thing was getting like this range of motion back.
Right.
Once I could do that, I knew I could just take it day by day.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't wear the brace. I wore the cast, but I talked to a couple other guys who wore the brace, and they said that you shouldn't wear it because it stops you from bringing your range of motion back as fast. But I only wore it when I slept and when I worked and when I went out to like the store to keep me reminded that it was hurt.
Yeah, I was like that. When I had my shoulder replaced, I didn't wear the sling except when I slept or when I went out in public, just for like I said, for
Exactly.
protection purposes. And so how long after the injury were you actually back in the gym training that arm?
I went to that arm probably 5 weeks. I was able
Okay.
to do pec deck. Pec deck was like the first thing I could do, and I wore it out, man.
Did the doctor say you could do that, or did you decide on your own that it was okay?
I never went back for an evaluation.
What? You never went back to the doctor?
No, never. I didn't go back.
Only guys from
I didn't.
Tennessee would do that, and Branch Warren probably too.
You know why? I didn't have insurance at the time, so I had to pay for that out of my pocket. And every
Oh,
time I looked at every hospital visit as $500. I'm like, screw this. I'll just, do it on my own, and it just go by feel.
so hold on. So let me get this straight. So the woman who owns the gym, her husband's a surgeon. So you said, hey, look, I need this thing reattached. Yeah, I have no insurance. So what did it cost you to get the thing reattached?
About 11 grand total.
All right. So you could have paid for insurance for probably for 3 years, but with all that money you spent already, right?
Yeah,
Do you have insurance now?
I do now. Yeah.
All right, smart. That's at least you learned your lesson. All right, so you spend 11 grand, you repair it. They don't let you come back for a couple of follow-up visits for the 11,000 you spent?
No, they don't care. I mean, they set the appointment, and I was like,
who took the stitches out?
Well, no, I went back for that.
Oh, okay. All right.
He took them out, my boss's husband.
Okay.
And since I know him on a personal level,
Yeah.
he would come to the gym, and I'd just be like, you want to look at my arm while you're here? And that would be
Let's
it.
go in the locker room. You can take my stitches out.
That's it. So I never went, after getting the cast off, getting stitches out, I never went back.
All right. You never went back. You rehabbed it yourself. When did you start going full bore? And how many weeks after the surgery?
I remember seeing a video or reading an article of Matt Kroc getting he tore his tricep.
Yeah.
And he did 275 for 20 reps or something 9 weeks after his surgery.
Yeah.
So I was Matt Croc's number as my gauge.
That's funny. Who's now Marie Janae Kroc, by the way.
Yeah, my bad. But
so you used his rehab schedule for your schedule.
Yeah, I was just I didn't really know what else to go by, so I just used his.
I guarantee the doctors would not have been that aggressive. I'm sure it wouldn't have been.
No, they wouldn't.
Here's the thing about guys that do aggressive rehabs like you did and like Branch did, you get your range of motion back much better. The problem is that your risk of tearing it probably again, in the initial stages is probably higher. But if you can get through those initial couple weeks and nothing happens negative, you probably rehab it much quicker because you don't lose that range of motion, because the longer you keep it immobilized, obviously, the longer you're going to have to get it back, that range of motion. So
yeah,
that's funny.
But my elbow hasn't really hurt since.
No? How did it look on stage? Do you feel that you got the size back that you needed from?
It's not quite as big as it was, but it's getting better every week.
Yeah.
But it didn't affect me. I mean, I could hide it pretty well.
Right. It's not a major body part like quads or pecs or anything like that. So it's kind of, triceps are easy to hide. I think probably easier to hide than biceps even.
For sure.
But look at Eduardo Correa. Poor Eduardo Correa had his tricep fixed 3 or 4 times. It tore or something like that.
Yeah.
But you're younger. You're a younger guy, so you can get away with it.
Yeah.
So what made you decide you wanted to do North American? Was that? I mean, a lot of guys probably would have waited till nationals.
North Americans has been my show since 2015. I don't know why. Even since I started bodybuilding, I always picked one show, and I did it until I won it.
Right.
When I was younger, it was this show around here called the Knox Classic. I did that show 3 times, and then I finally won it. And then the state show, I just always picked shows. So when my first national show was 2015, it was North Americans. I got 7th place, and I just wanted to win that show. And I did it every year since 15.
Right.
So my mind was made up after I lost to Ron. I was obviously going to go to nationals, but that didn't happen. So North Americans was the only option.
Yeah. Now, I can relate to something you've gone through because you have a relatively newborn baby. You have a year-old baby. That has to present its own challenges, and it seems like it must have happened right around the time you tore your tricep, the baby.
Yeah, he was born in May, and I tore my tricep in October.
Right. I'm sure your wife was thrilled about that, right?
Yeah, she knows I'm crazy. So I don't. I mean,
No, but it puts a strain because now you can't hold the baby. It's like, I know
yeah,
because I got my shoulder replaced when I had kids. So it puts a strain on the workload, I'm sure, in helping out with the kids. Plus, there's the challenge of, when you're getting ready for a show, it's hard, with the baby in the house and stuff like that. How did you get through that difficult time, that first year or so when the baby is like not sleeping and it's getting up to eat and feed at night?
I just dealt with it. I mean, um, I usually watch him on Fridays whenever I get off work.
Yeah.
Because her mom watches him on the other days
Right.
that she works. She just works 3 days a week. So I watch him on Fridays, and I couldn't watch him, like you said, for the
Yeah.
first like 6 weeks because
Right.
I couldn't pick him up.
Right.
So that was difficult. Her mom had to like do more work that she, was supposed to do, and so. But other than that, my wife she's pretty good, man.
She sucked it up, in other words, for you. I got you.
Yeah, she stepped up and let me be a bum.
No, but I know, but there's a level of guilt you have there because you want to take, you want to be responsible, you want to step up to the
Absolutely.
plate. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is show the people who are watching that there's a lot of sacrifice involved when you have an injury, when you have children, you have a family that depends on you, and you're trying to get ready for a show. It's not easy.
No, it's not. Yeah. Plus, I trained clients all day, so I was doing all that with one arm. That
Wow.
sucked.
Wow. Well, you know what? You're a workhorse. You worked your way through it, and you got that victory. Now, when you got up there on that stage, did you know you were going to win, or was it a surprise when you heard your name announced?
Man, I'm not trying to sound like arrogant or anything, but like ever since I got second last year, it just gave me a new confidence. It just sucks because I didn't get to train with that confidence uninjured.
Yeah.
I would love to see what would happen, but I truly believed I would win, and the whole time, even just getting ready for it. But even when I got on stage and they put me in the middle, pretty much right away.
Sure.
Obviously I didn't win the overall, but I believed I would win. I'm not saying I knew I would win, but I just truly believed in my heart I would win.
Yeah, well, that you got that. You need that confidence is definitely translates on stage. Now, what did you weigh at the North Americans?
275.
Okay, and how tall are you?
6'3".
Okay, so you're one of the taller guys on the circuit. There's not many 6'3" guys that can carry the level of mass and symmetry that you have. Most guys who are that tall have weak legs, or they have long arms. And do you find it's a challenge to keep your body filled out properly, or was symmetry always something that came easy for you?
It's funny because the one knock on my physique from every person I've ever talked to is my symmetry and structure is terrible. That's what they all say, and that's what's always motivated me too. Is like turn, to try to turn pro. Is just like, to show them like, hey, I turned pro and you didn't. So,
of course, that's great.
But no, I mean, the symmetry issue was trying to keep this left side from being too much bigger than this right side because I trained my left arm the whole time. My right side was out of commission. Right. So I was doing one arm chest, one arm back, and everything.
Which according to like some of the research shows that if you stimulate the nervous system on one side, it actually stimulates it on the other side, even though you're not actually working the other side. So I think that definitely helps with the recovery process.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, I told my friend Matt Berzicott, he just tore his bicep again.
Again? Oh my God!
He tore his other bicep.
Oh
Matt's
no!
a good friend of mine.
Shit.
Man.
Yeah, I know Matt.
Yeah, he's getting ready for nationals, and he was really upset about it. But I told him if he could just treat his rehab like a prep, because where he was already in prep for nationals, that's what I did. I was already in prep for nationals, so I just stayed on my diet. I stayed on the cardio, and I think all that blood flow every day, and the piece in your mind, making yourself know that, like it keeps you sane from going crazy and getting depressed.
Of course.
And I think that's why I hit so fast as well.
Yeah, Antoine Valiette did the same thing. So when he tore his recently, he just kept training, and that's the way to be, I think. Bicep and tricep injuries are not quite as drastic as like a pec injury or a quad tear. So, I think that's something you can recover from faster. But, when you start recurringly tearing things like Matt did too, it can get a little depressing. I think, once in a while to make a bad move like you did with a 405 on the bench. I mean, getting ready for a show, you're a little more vulnerable. It was probably not the smartest thing to do. In hindsight, you'll be smarter probably at this point. But, you got through it now. Now you got a pro card. What do you do with it? What's the game plan moving forward now?
See, that's the thing that's like, because I'm used to losing every year and then having the motivation to train for a show, right?
Right.
So now it's like, I'm not ready to step on a pro stage. I'm 6'3". Everybody else is freaking 5'2". But I want to get as big as I possibly can, and I don't expect to be Mr. Olympia or nothing like that. I just want to be huge and impressive.
Right.
And if I could walk out on stage, and the guy who wins doesn't get talked about as much as I do, then I'm happy.
What do you want to weigh on stage, Alton? What do you think your body can hold and still look good?
I could easily hold 300, 290, 300.
Wow. All right. That's a lot. You got your work cut out for you, 25 pounds.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do.
But will you see yourself stepping on stage in 20, or do you think you're going to take a whole year off?
I'm going to take the whole year off because, obviously the shows are so early, geared towards qualifying for the Olympia. And,
sure.
I mean, there's nothing for me to do in May. Like, I'm not going to get improved to do a show in May if I die in February. So I'm just going to take the whole year and just try to get huge.
Look, congratulations. Not only did you win your class, you got an IFBB Pro card. You overcame a major injury. You have a newborn son. Congratulations on all your accolades, and good luck this offseason putting on that 25 pounds of muscle. Hopefully I got you back here a year from now and we can talk about all the great improvements you made. Yeah,
hopefully you can come back and I could be 300 pounds.
There you go. That'll be something to talk about.
Yeah.
Once again, congratulations on the big win. Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Man, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.